Hello and welcome to my video lecture where you can reconfirm your life direction. This time I would like to discuss how important providing alternative is when you start a new social change. My name is Dr. Samurai, a professor specializing in international social pathology and also active prison counselor of 20-year experience. Also, one-time Nobel Peace Prize official honorable guest, only one time, for my peace work. As usual, I introduce some general information to you in the former half, and in the latter half I would like to get to the main point. Okay, so I said providing alternative is crucial when you introduce new social change, right? What does it mean? Mr. President Biden is energetically promoting new social direction. One is the reduction of greenhouse gas emission, and the other is taxing on 1% super rich to produce $1.5 trillion, right? And as you very well know, red state and blue state are always fighting against each other. That means Democrats versus Republican war. Academically, it is said that those two different parties get together to cooperate is very difficult because their differences are so deep-rooted. That said, how can either party push through a plan that is very beneficial to the public? So far, either Democrats or Republican proposes new policy. The other party rejected it, and it was almost never substantialized, right? And here comes my advice as a social pathologist. If you really want to make truly beneficial plan realized, you always have to think about providing some alternative to the other who would lose something. For example, cutting down on greenhouse gas emission, right? Mr. President Biden is publicly announcing cutting down about 50% by 2030 from the level of 2005, which is very good. But in order to realize his new direction, he cannot avoid sacrificing people who work for primary industry and also manufacturing industry, right? So of course they object to the plan and asking for help to Republicans. This kind of thing has been going on and on, right? But what I'm saying is to cut down on greenhouse gas, to put some restraint on primary and manufacturing industries is a must. But they also have to make a living to support their families. So in a kind of case, one possibility is to give them some kind of priority to get alternative jobs which are created when Mr. Biden is actually start working on decreasing the gas. To be very straightforward, everything is about money in the end to make a living. So just provide them a new way of making their living in a new direction. Give them that priority, even if they have to learn new skills and knowledge and so on. I'll give you another example. At the beginning, I mentioned Mr. President will put the extra tax on 1% super rich to create $1.5 trillion. And I personally think it is a very logical thing, because it is not executives that is actually creating the profits. Those who are creating the profits for the company is those who work at the actual job sites, and they are the ordinary who needs government service. So the owners of big companies, especially those super rich, are standing on the efforts of the general public. So it is as a matter of course that they must pay back to their workers for their due. But of course, in this capitalistic world, they do not want to pay anything extra if it is possible. I understand that's a natural reaction. But 1% super rich people, if they can get some kind of a government approved symbols that only very few limited people can obtain, like a platinum badge that government provides only to those who paid taxes above certain lines and so on, and give them some kind of a privilege at certain social institutions wearing that badge. That way, he is paying a lot of tax for the public. People think that is going to make them feel a little bit better that we are chosen ones. The good example is Mr. Bill Gates. I do not know him in person, so I do not know what his real motivation is. But I can tell now, having earned most income in the world, his interest is into something else, more like an prestige paid by the general public. So I think he is seriously working on fighting against this global warming. That's why he is now seriously into the production of biologically engineered meat that tastes exactly the same as real meat, which is very good thing, I think, as a social pathologist, because in my mind, meat was the forbidden fruit in the Bible, because to obtain that addictive, you have to abuse and kill the innocent lives of animals, and that could extend to others very easily when the opportunity comes. I can promise that. But anyway, in order to stop this global warming, he is not just saying stop eating meat. That is not going to work, because eating meat is a part of family life already. That is the fact, right? but by providing exactly the same taste without killing and without keeping farm animals, which is producing the most amount of greenhouse gas. It could be a very good alternative for many people to stop eating meat which was produced by animals that gives out so much greenhouse gas, right? Alternative. Oh, by the way, if you like this kind of story, which I talks about underlying mechanics of social problems, please subscribe by clicking at the green and the yellow good luck charm icon. I also put the best video URL at the description section so that you can find some videos of your own interest. But anyway, let me get back to what I was talking about. I know Japan is blamed internationally for whaling, and I am against that. I am also against killing dolphins by fishermen. I am so ashamed of this country of rising sun killing those precious beings in the nature. I am personally believing we Japanese should be one of the leaders of promoting protection of nature and natural beings. But anyway, one of the politicians whose constituencies are in the sector of whaling approved it, switching from just whaling for research purpose. Now they are doing exactly the same thing as they used to. But if those people who are making ends meet on whaling are looking for income to support their families, I think government indeed should spend some money for them to shift from whaling to whale tourism. If they can make more money by whale tourism, more people lose the reason to stick to old way of killing whales, unless they love killing lives. By the way, nowadays so many countries have their own old tradition, and some traditions do not match the needs of today's age and is not really necessary to continue. Times are changing. To live is to change. This is one of the today's values. Keep living in this life is keep changing. We must be flexible. We only get solid when we die. It is meaningless to try to protect old tradition that could include cruelty and unnecessary dangers and things. Japan's necessary tradition is whaling. We don't have whale meat anymore to survive. So, and young generation have never tasted it before. So why continue whaling? Also killing dolphins, which are highly intelligent mammals who are hooked with the fisherman's net. Why don't they just release them? You know, the same thing is bullfighting. I am not denying the nation itself. I am denying the unnecessary tradition in general. Eating dogs who are closest friends to humans, calling deer hunting a sport, all those things we have to change. We do not have to obsess with protecting old traditions that does not match today's needs blindly. So we have so many areas in which we need new directions and new policies. And when we do that, let's think about giving the other party some priority and some alternative as the privilege to those who lose something because of that. That way, only those who are pathologically obsessive will object to the new beneficial direction. Most of the people will agree if they can make a living. So this is what I wanted to suggest in my video lecture. Now, in many countries, democratic people and conservative peoples are standing against each other in so many and those changes of main party on and on and on, and each time that happens the system and change all the time, and we can't continue any good and positive policy or acts across the party changes. And as I said, frankly, the time is not gonna come that those two different groups truly mingle each other. That is the fact. But under such situation, if we truly like to change society in a better direction, we always think about providing some alternative or privilege to those who lose something for it. That is the key that I, as an international social pathologist, can provide today. If you like this kind of underlying mechanism stories, please click the red Dr. Summary logos that shows up in the last 15 seconds. And up until next time, please have a peaceful and wonderful time. Okay? Bye bye now.